Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Los Angeles Bias. As usual, my name is Russell, here at the University of Southern California. Sorry about the bit of a hiatus. I've been super busy over the last couple weeks. It's only going to get busier until pretty much summer begins. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The theme of this week's episode will be the USC Trojans and UCLA Bruins, which performed a couple weeks ago at the NFL Combine. And then upcoming will be the Pro Days, but we'll get into that when it happens. But yes, so the NFL Combine took place a couple weeks ago. I believe 8 USC Trojans were invited. I'm not sure how many Bruins were invited, but Sasha will talk about that in his segment. But yes, so for the Trojans that came out, the big ones were obviously Adoree', Juju, then we had Zach Banner, Chad Wheeler, and Damian Mama. Those 5 were, those were the starters, those were the key, members of the Trojans that are leaving the team this year to go pursue their dreams in the NFL draft. But yes, so let's go ahead and talk about that. Frankly, the Trojans did not do all too well in the Combine. For Adoree' and Juju, they didn't really have to go out there to prove anything. They just had to make sure everyone understood what they were. For Adoree', he had to prove that he could be a jack of all trades, that not only could he play, the DB number 1, he could play slot, he could play, punt returner, kick returner, all that good stuff. He had to prove that he was nimble, he was fast, and could do all that stuff. For Juju, he just needed to prove that he could be a prototypical wide receiver. Not like, not some slot guy, not some speedster. He just needed to prove that he can, get up and catch those, 50-50 balls, that he could be reliable on the outside, and that he'd be a good number 1 or number 2 receiver. For his 40, which, it's funny for him, the 40 definitely was the most important drill because he just needed to prove that he wasn't slow. We all know he's not slow because we watch him, but, there's a lot of people out there that were questioning his speed. I believe he posted a 4.54 40, which was kind of just perfect. It's what he needed to post in order to silence the haters. And, he's been doing a lot of training, so for Juju, nothing impressive at the Combine, but he did what he needed to do. Same thing for Adoree'. He was one of those people going in that people were like, oh, he's one of those kids who could possibly break Chris Johnson's 40 record, which was 4.24 seconds. Oof. How long ago was that? 2002? Something like that? But, when it happened, it was a big deal. People were listing off who could possibly break this record, People were saying, oh, maybe Adoree's the kid. He's this guy who was trying to get to the Olympics. Everyone knows he's an amazing punt returner. Everyone knows he's super fast. Maybe he could break it. Unfortunately, he did not break that record. I believe he posted a 4.27, something like that. But unfortunately, it was the wide receiver from Washington, John Ross, who posted a 4.2240. So congratulations to John Ross. Unfortunately, he did not win an island because he did not wear Adidas cleats, but I believe he had a great response. He said he doesn't know how to swim very well. So good for him. Adoree' did not post the best numbers at the Combine. He ended up being like the 7th fastest 40 out of all the DBs alone. He was very smooth in the drills, which was great. I think that helped him out a lot. But yeah, I think for those 2 Trojans, they kind of just went out there and just proved, they are what they are. And you get what you get when you're drafting those 2. I don't think there's going to be any surprises. In regards to our linemen, they did not perform all that well. I believe Zach Banner ended up coming in as the heaviest person at the Combine, which is really not the best thing to weigh in as, even if you are, a left tackle, if a lineman in general. I don't think he's going to play left tackle inside the NFL. I don't know. He's definitely athletic, but I don't know if he's going to be able to move that fast. He's definitely more of a guard. Damian Mama, I believe, posted the slowest 40 at the Combine. It's never a good thing when Rich Eisen is trying to beat you in his 40-yard dash. It's never a good thing when they're putting you up against each other saying, oh, he's got a chance to beat him, and then, actually, he didn't, Rich Eisen did not beat him, so good for Damian Mama. But, yeah, and Chad Wheeler, from just what I saw and what I heard, did not have the best numbers at the Combine. So, unfortunately, the Trojans did not do all too well. Regarding their stock in the draft, it's very difficult to say where the linemen will go. I think the linemen are just going to go to whatever team ends up needing them. They're not going to be high picks. I don't see any of them being picked within the first, definitely not within the first 2, possibly in the 3rd for Zach Banner, but I would say 3rd day and on for the draft, if they are drafted. Unfortunately, there is a chance that they will go undrafted. In regards to Juju, it's not the best draft for wide receivers and quarterbacks, especially for quarterbacks. So I think he's going to be a good number 2 receiver for a team that needs some height and so some skill on the outside. I don't really see him as a number 1 receiver at the moment. He could definitely progress and evolve into a number 1 receiver, but it's difficult to say where he's going to go. There's a lot of teams that kind of need a wide receiver right now, but not really a wide receiver like Juju. So, and plus free agency is still going on. There's been all this craziness with Brandon Cooks going to the Patriots and whatnot. But, with the Rams just picking up Robert Woods, there was a hot take like, oh, maybe Juju's going to go to the Rams. Maybe they're going to pick him up. But now that they just picked up another former SC Trojan, I don't think they're going to pick up another one. So maybe he takes his place out in Buffalo. So it's difficult to say where Juju's going to go. I can see him at Buffalo, maybe out there in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz, heaving the ball out there. But then for probably our highest pick, Adoree', people are saying he could possibly go in the first or second. I see him as a late first, possibly early second draft pick. I'm looking at teams that kind of need a difference maker, not only corner, but a guy who can return kicks, punts, play the nickel position, which is a very important position in today's spread offensive game. I say, it's difficult to say. I can totally see someone like Jerry Jones taking a chance on him, because what do the Cowboys need right now? They need help on the defense. They've got all the offensive pieces. I think we saw that this past year. They need some help on the defensive side. So I can definitely see Jerry Jones picking up Adoree' Jackson in the late first round. If he's there in the second round, I don't see the Cowboys passing on him in the second round. But then I can also see the Saints needing him in the first and second round as well. And the Saints do pick before the Cowboys. So unless the Saints end up getting a Malcolm Butler from the Patriots, I say the Saints are going to pick him up in the first round because they need that difference maker. They need a better corner. And I believe he can fit in out there in Louisiana. So in New Orleans. So yes, those are my projections for our number 1 and number 2 players going into the NFL draft. Unfortunately, I must admit, the UCLA Bruins had a much better showing at the Combine. Not as many people, but the people that they did send posted some pretty great numbers. So go ahead, Sasha, why don't you go ahead and talk about them? All right, take it away.
How's it going, you guys? So tonight we're obviously going to be talking about the NFL Combine and the upcoming NFL Draft. It's going to be in a few weeks. Taking a look at how the UCLA players fared in the Combine and where I think they're going to be going. With concern to the rounds and what teams maybe that are going to be looking into them and that sort of thing. So let's hop right into it. Fabian Moreau is the first guy that we're going to be looking at. I was really impressed with how he did in the Combine. Ran a 4.35 40, did it really well in the 10-cone drills and things like that. So in the 10-yard drills, sorry about that. He was probably the best. I don't want to say the best corner of the day, but he did very well. He had the number 1 or number 2 40 time of all defensive backs. Was really, really good. I expected him to be in the 4.4 range, something like that, but I didn't think he was that athletic, to be honest with you, but turned out he was. Glad to see it. I think he's going to be... He hasn't reached his full potential yet, considering he was a running back in his first year or two at UCLA, so... Really looking forward to see how he's going to pan out in the NFL. And as to where I think he's going to go, I could definitely see him going to a cornerback need in the second round. Team like the Saints or the Cowboys or the Eagles, somewhere like that. That would probably be one of the better fits, especially the Saints or the Eagles. Cowboys less so because they already have Byron Jones, but we'll see. I really liked how he did. That it was a huge stock improvement for him, at least in my opinion, because I didn't think he was that athletic. I don't think many other scouts and NFL executives thought he was that fast. Next guy on the list is going to be Takk McKinley. He ran a 4.59 40, which is, I thought he was going to be faster, but I'm really glad that he broke the 4.6 barrier. Whenever you break the barrier, whenever you're like a 4.49, 4.59, 4.69, it's always a little better than being 4.70, 4.71 or something like that. So I'm glad he broke the barrier. He is really fast for a guy his size, and he needed to be. He's known for being quick off the edge. He's known for being an athletic freak. So he needed to show that he could do it in shorts and not just in gear in a game. So. Now he crossed that off the board, but he went into surgery, I think like a day after the combine, or after he ran and after he did all his drills. So, and the recovery is 3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months, something like that. So, we'll see where he goes. We'll see if it affects his stock. It's a shoulder injury, so I'm not sure how much it's going to affect him. It's not like it's a knee. We'll see. I don't think it's going to affect him much, but he might not be getting the mid first round, early first round consideration that he might have been if he didn't have the injury. I could definitely see him going mid to late first round though. A team like the Falcons could pick him up at 31 or 31. A team like the Cowboys maybe, who needs help on the defensive line on the edge. Just late first round edge needy teams. Definitely going to be looking into Takk McKinley. And on to the final guy that we're going to be talking about tonight is Eddie Vanderdoes. He ran a 4.99, which is decent for a D tackle, but he didn't really do anything to stand out, and that's what I think he needed to do something to show that he was physically gifted at the combine. He did a good job at the Senior Bowl, or not the Senior Bowl, whichever one of those player all-star games that they had before the combine, something like the Senior Bowl, but he's a true junior. No, he's a redshirt junior. So yeah, the Senior Bowl. He did a really good job there. So hopefully that doesn't make too big of an impact on his. Hopefully the combine doesn't make too big of an impact on how he did in the Senior Bowl, because I think he did really well there against some good competition. Hopefully they look at his tape and realize that while he isn't this pass rushing defensive tackle that we might have thought he might have been out of high school, he's still a very good defensive tackle who should be going day 2. I'm not sure where he's going to go. Honestly, it depends how the defensive line, because this draft is very deep for defense, and that bodes poorly for all of the UCLA prospects, considering most of them are on defense. We'll see. I could see a day 2 or maybe early day 3 pick for him. I can't tell you what teams are defensive tackle needy at the moment. It's because he could play multiple positions on the D line, and there's a lot of teams that need help on the D line. So it's really a crapshoot where he goes. He could go as early as round 2, and then he can go as late as round 4, 5, 6. It's really up to what teams see in him, if they think they can carry out his potential, if they think his injuries aren't going to catch up to him in the near future, because he is coming on. He did come off of the ACL tear from 2 years ago, and never really looked the exact same as he was his sophomore and freshman year. So we'll see, but Eddie Vanderdoes it was a tough one for me to come up with, because he could go honestly anywhere, and it's a shame because without the injury, his junior year, he probably would have been a first-round pick, considering he was playing at such a high level for a sophomore. I think the knee injury really hampered him. So, those are the 3 prospects that we're going to be covering tonight. I'm going to send it back to Russell to close this episode off. So, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.
All right, Sasha, thank you very much for that. And so the draft will be coming up in a couple weeks. Of course, we're going to cover that. We're going to put out a video for all that good stuff. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, I posted a couple throwback clips of Adoree and Juju from actually the first home game this year. I mean, there's nothing more timeless than a Adoree Jackson punt return all the way back to the house, and then of course Juju just killing that kid from Utah State. Oh my god. But so for the remainder of the video, I went to Disneyland during spring break. I have a couple clips for that, just to include some more of the vlogging portion of this video. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I will see you in a couple weeks, and alright, thank you guys. Bye-bye. We're right here. Can we all see ourselves? Kind of, I'm lucky Matt. What's up?